guys! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Trish and I like to talk about Japan and what it's like to live here. If that sounds like something that would also tickle your fancy, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And let's get into today's video. It's the most wonderful time of the year. No, I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about Halloween like every other person on YouTube right now. Obviously, living in Japan, Halloween is going to be a little different than it would be if I was living back in Texas. So I wanted to talk today about a couple of things that surprised me the most about the differences between Halloween in America, or at least Halloween in Texas versus Halloween in Japan. You might expect some of the zany anime craziness to carry over into the Halloween season because it's kind of perfect for it, or at least like something like from The Ring or Japanese horror, but no, we don't get that. They've basically cutified Halloween and taken off some of the spooky edge, but that's okay. American Halloween, whether you like it or not, is basically framed by Christian beliefs, or at least Christian values. Like there's the concept of God, there's a concept of Satan, there's a concept of heaven and hell, there's a concept of demons, ghosts, things like that. But as Japan is not a Christian country, you're not gonna find the same level of spookiness, eeriness, creepiness to Halloween. So I won't get into the fundamental core details between Christian America and Buddhist/Shinto Japan because I'm not qualified to do so and I'd probably give you misinformation. But just basically, in a nutshell, for the purpose of this video, know that the core values of both countries are different. Thus, the things that scare people in both countries are different. Let's just skim the superficial exterior of Halloween and see how it differs between America and Japan. Let's kick the list off with arguably the most American thing on the list. I'm not sure that this store exists outside of the continental United States, but that is Spirit Halloween. For those who don't know, Spirit Halloween is basically a one-stop shop for everything Halloween. So you've got wigs, masks, costumes, lawn decor, Halloween party items, grotesque costumes, cute costumes, everything in between. Basically, everything you could need for Halloween is sold at this store. In Japan, there is no equivalent. Actually, believe it or not, in a country that's famous for its anime cosplay and just cosplay in general, there's not really a one-stop shop where you can find a Halloween costume. People go all freaking out on their Halloween costumes here, but it's a little trickier than just jaunting off to the Spirit store and buying a costume. It's gonna take a little more searching and creativity. My first year living here, I thought it was really strange because I had a hard time finding a Halloween costume. Now, that could be due to the lack of size inclusivity at most stores in Japan. If you are not the average Japanese size, you might have a little trouble finding a costume. If you're in the market for a Halloween costume and you happen to live in Japan, I would suggest trying one of the following stores. You can visit your local Don Quijote. Yes, that's a store. It's like Japanese Walmart. They might have a small selection or a large selection of Halloween costumes, but if you're looking for size inclusivity and maybe a larger size costume, you're not gonna have a lot of luck finding it, I don't think. If Don Quijote didn't work out for you, you could also try your local Tokyo Hands, which is a craft store in most shopping areas. It's kind of like Hobby Lobby, only there's not as much home decor. Actually, there's no home decor. Actually, scratch the home decor. It would be like Hobby Lobby if Hobby Lobby was like a school supplies / art craft supplies store smashed with a health store. And that's what Tokyo Hands is. You might get lucky and find a Halloween section at Tokyo Hands, but again, if you're looking for size inclusivity, you're not going to find it. Last but not least, ye old tried and true Amazon. You will find size inclusivity on Amazon. Expect to pay more for it. And also, I hope you can take good body measurements. So now that you've got your costuming situation squared away and you're ready to go, time to prepare for all of those trick-or-treaters that you won't have. Kids going door to door and trick-or-treating is not a thing here. I think a lot of civic centers or community centers will host Halloween parties for kids. I'm not really sure that they do the whole trick-or-treat thing. All Eikaiwa schools will probably teach a Halloween themed unit going into the season or leading up to Halloween Day. So kids will probably know the phrase trick or treat maybe, but they're not gonna come knock on your door for candy, so don't expect that. Which segues into our next difference between American Halloween and Japanese Halloween, and that is the giant 5-pound bags of candy that line the aisles at your local Walmart or Target or grocery store. You're not gonna find that here because, again, there's no trick-or-treaters, so you don't need a... Who says you don't need a 5-pound bag of candy? My point with that is the stores look a little different around this time of year because, yes, they do have Halloween like packaged items like cookies and candies. They try really hard with that, but you're not going to find the same level of bigness. You're not gonna find the same stuff that you find in the States. So you've got your costume squared away. You may or may not have a giant bag of candy. You're not expecting any trick-or-treaters. What do you do next? Well, you don't carve a giant pumpkin. Trish, why not? Why can't I carve a giant pumpkin? Unless you're wanting to pay like $50 for a pumpkin, you're probably not going to carve one. Why? Well, okay, so Japanese pumpkins, or kabocha, are small, I would call it a pumpkin squash, which I think all pumpkins are squashes. Squash plural. Without getting into an ethical debate on the vegetable family of the pumpkin.
A pumpkin is a vegetable, right? Not a fruit.
Is a pumpkin a fruit or a vegetable?
Here's an answer from Healthline.com. Pumpkin is a type of winter squash that's technically a fruit, but it has the nutritional profile of a vegetable.
It's a fruit. Anyway, you're not gonna find a regular sized pumpkin in Japan. You're gonna find a kabocha, which is smaller. You could just draw eyes on it. Like, you know, they have those tiny little baby pumpkins. Yeah, you could.
Hello.
There are no pumpkins for carving. The only place I've seen the biggish pumpkins are at flower shops. And like I said, expect to pay about $50 for a pumpkin to carve. Actually, I think not being able to find a pumpkin was more surprising to me than not being able to find a Halloween costume that fit. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the last thing that I want to talk about today is the difference in like scare level between Japan and American Halloween. So Japan, doing what it does, has taken Halloween, put their spin on it, and made it cute. I don't mean all aspects of Japanese Halloween have been cutified. Like Universal Studios Japan still does its zombie run every year where you have to run away from zombies. On the other hand, in Tokyo, you've got Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, and they have Disney-fied Halloween, which is cute. It's not so scary. It boils down to, like I said, the religious base is different, and actually Japan celebrates kind of like a Halloween in August. It's called the Obon holiday. Basically what that is for Japanese people is a time to celebrate their ancestors and their relatives that have passed on. I haven't researched this, so I'm just going off the top of my head, but from what I know about Obon, people actually invite the spirits of their ancestors into their home. They leave little treats out for them, and I believe they make a horse out of cucumber or an eggplant or not really sure what that's for, but they invite spirits of their ancestors in. Whereas in America, which has a heavily European influence, we're more about keeping the spirits out, if you know what I mean. So actually, the origin story of our wonderful jack-o'-lantern was actually, he was a little more terrifying in the past, but was actually to ward off evil spirits. So it's kind of the opposite. Despite the differences between the two countries regarding Halloween, I would arguably say that Halloween in Japan is more fun for adults because you get to go out, drink until the wee hours of the morning, and there's always going to be some sort of public transport to make sure that you get home. In Texas, where I'm from, as an adult, we could still dress up, but somebody had to drive because there wasn't really any public transport in the piney woods of East Texas. So, we were kind of on our own getting home. Danger. Usually people just had house parties, but then you still had to figure out how to get home, so. Halloween's a little different in Japan than it is in America. Equally as awesome, but still different. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about the differences between Japanese and American Halloween. If you'd like to see more videos like this, if you'd like to learn more about Japan and what it's like to live here, do me a favor and like this video, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. Y'all have a good week.